Hello everyone, welcome to my channel AWS Solutions Hub. Today we are going to see different factors involved in cloud and on-premises cost. Moving into the cloud while following the principles and practices associated with on-premises, it is one of the top reasons for overspending in the cloud. In this lecture, we are going to talk about the difference between traditional on-premise data center pricing and cloud pricing. Cloud computing is a much different model that demands we follow different set of principles and practices. It is important that we are aware of these differences because it's these differences that drive the need for a better fitting cost management model for the cloud. Here are some of the key differences that can significantly influence the financial management approach in the cloud. First, capital expenditure or CapEx versus operational expenditure or OpEx. On-premise typically involves significant upfront capital expenditure. This includes purchasing hardware, servers, storage, networking equipment, data, data center facilities or infrastructure like cooling power, physical security, and software licenses in the cloud. We shift costs from CapEx to OpEx. You pay for the services that you consume with no upfront cost. This can provide improved cash flow and provide more financial flexibility. Second, economical model or economic model. On-premise costs are largely fixed regardless of how much of the infrastructure is utilized. You need to provision for peak capacity, which might lead to underutilized resources during off-peak times. Cloud offers pay-as-you-go model. You pay for what you use, leading to potential cost savings, especially if your workloads are variable or unpredictable. Third, maintenance and upgrades. Maintenance and upgrades on-premise, you bear the responsibility and costs of the maintenance, the patching, hardware, and software upgrades. Over time, additional costs are incurred to replace aging hardware or updating outdated software in the cloud. The provider handles the maintenance and upgrades of hardware, in some cases, the maintenance patching and the upgrades of software. This can lead to operational efficiencies and reduce the hidden costs associated with keeping infrastructure up to date. Fourth, scalability and elasticity. Scalability and elasticity on-premise scaling requires planning, purchasing, and deploying new hardware, which can be time-consuming and expensive. Over-provisioning is common to account for future growth. Cloud provides instant scalability and elasticity. Resources can be provisioned or deprovisioned in real time based on demand. This dynamic scaling can lead to cost efficiencies. Fifth, licensing. Licensing on-premises software licenses often come as long-term commitments and might be based on server CPU or core counts. In cloud, many cloud services come with licensing included in the service price. Additionally, cloud providers may offer pay-as-you-go or bring your own license options. 6. Longevity and depreciation. Longevity and depreciation on premise hardware assets depreciate over time, impacting the financial health of an organization. Additionally, older hardware becomes less efficient and might lead to increased operational cost. In cloud, there is no concern about asset depreciation or aging infrastructure. From the customer's perspective, the cloud provider manages the full hardware lifecycle. 8. Cost predictability. Predictability on premise, while the upfront are clear, unforeseen expenses related to maintenance failures or urgent upgrades can arise in cloud. While scalability provides flexibility, it can also introduce variability in monthly expenses, so proper monitoring or cost management practices are essential. In summary, while both on-premise and cloud environments have their pros and cons from a pricing perspective, the cloud offers significant flexibility, scalability, and reduced overhead, especially concerning upfront cost and maintenance. But we must be proactive in monitoring and optimizing cloud expenses to fully realize the benefits. Everybody likes free. In this lecture, we are going to talk about the three types of free tier offerings in AWS, how to see which services are available in free tier, and how to check free tier usage in our account, along with some ways to leverage the free tier with some best practices and gotchas. The AWS free tier is a promotional offering from Amazon Web Services that allows new and existing customers to explore and experiment with a selection of AWS services for free up to a certain usage limits. It's designed to give customers a taste of AWS services without any initial cost. There are three types of free tier offerings. First, always free services. Some services have offerings that are always free up to specific limits. For instance, Amazon DynamoDB offers up to 256 GB of storage and up to 200 million requests per month for free forever. Second, 12-month free services. When you first create an AWS account, you get access to several AWS services for free for the first 12 months. Examples include 750 hours per month of Amazon EC2, T2 micro or T3 micro instances, and 5 gigabytes of standard storage in Amazon S3. Third, short-term trials. From time to time, AWS may introduce short-term trials for certain services. These are time-bound and might be available for different durations. An example is Amazon Redshift, which includes 750 hours per month for free for a 2-month trial. You can see which services are part of the free tier offerings from the pricing section of the AWS website under the free tier subheading. If you scroll down, browse to a service you have interested in, filter by category or search. Then see which services are in scope for the free tier along with the terms of the offerings. We can also access a personalized view of what we are using in the free tier, and we can do that from the AWS console. Look in the upper right hand corner, selecting our name, clicking on billing dashboard. Then on the left hand side under billing, we see the free tier option. Selecting that, and we see all of our usage of services in the free tier listed here. We can see current usage, and we also see forecasted service usage for the end of the month. So, what are some common ways that companies use the free tier? Exploration and learning. The free tiers is a great for learning about AWS services without incurring costs. It's suitable for training, personal projects, or small scale POC projects. Next, early stage startups can potentially utilize the free tier to build and test their prototypes without spending much on small projects. Some lightweight projects might even run long term within the free tier limits, especially if they use the always free services. Let's wrap up this lecture with some best practices and gotchas for the free tier. First, monitor usage. Use AWS Cost Explorer and budgets to keep an eye on free tier usage. Set up alerts to notify you if you are approaching the limits. Read the blueprints or fine prints. The free tier covers many services, but each has its own specific limits. Always check the details before deploying anything substantial. Third, countage. Remember, the 12-month free tier is only for the first 12 months after creating your AWS account. After that, standard charges apply. Multiple services using a combination of services might result in charges even if each individual service is within the free tier limit. For instance, an EC2 instance might be free, but the associated data transfer or EBS volume snapshots might not be. Fifth, watch for trials. Some trials might automatically convert to paid versions after the trial period ends, unless manually stopped. In summary, the AWS free tier is a great resource for learning, experimenting, and even running small projects to optimize costs and avoid the unexpected charges. It's important to actively monitor usage and understand the specific limits of each service and regularly clean up the unused resources. So that's it from this lecture. Hope we have understood the difference between on-premise cost and the cloud cost. What are the different factors involved? We have seen the AWS free tier concept. What is the scope for this free tier? Where do we use free tier and what are the best practices? Thank you. Thanks for watching. See you in the next lecture. Bye.